Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mafia Means Family podcast.
I'm your host, Mafia Mom.
And I am Mini Mafia. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fire content.
All right, so we are back. We do want to apologize. We were not around the last 2 weeks. Where were we?
We took a vacation to the Florida Keys.
We did. And we left right before the Bills came in to kick the Dolphins' butt, but we'll get to that a little bit later. What did you think of the Florida Keys? Did we have fun?
Yes, I had lots of fun.
Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about what we did? First, before you get into that, we were planning on actually doing our show, at least recording it from Florida. However, the place we were staying did not have the best internet access. So it became apparent pretty quickly that was not going to work. But we're happy to be back today. Glad the season is still rolling. Never easy. Breathing a little bit better today after the last 2 weeks, but happy to be back and got a lot of fun stuff today to talk about. So good. You want to talk about our vacation a little bit?
Yeah. So we stayed in Key Largo. We stayed in this little cottage by the beach. I went fishing a little bit. Sadly, I didn't catch any fish, but I did get to go fishing. I'm pretty sure in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yep, the Atlantic Ocean.
We went to Key West. We went to mile marker 0, the southernmost tip.
Went to Miami.
Yeah, we went to Miami.
What about some of the cool stuff you got to do?
Yeah, I'm saving that for last.
Oh, okay.
I got a Messi jersey. He's my favorite soccer player.
Yep.
I've been begging for one for a decently long time now, so I'm glad I got that. I also got where is it? That Allen jersey over there for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And
we had a very happy Billsmas.
Yes, we did. I don't think I got one thing that was unrelated to football, basically.
I don't know. You got a lot of stuff, but yeah. You got a lot of Bill stuff
or
for
sports.
Sure. Yeah.
My basketball season just started. We got our first win, 35-31. The team played amazing, and we just need to keep on going with it.
Yeah. And the second game's tomorrow, right?
Yep, second game's tomorrow.
And I coach, so it's a family affair. And
yep. Yeah. So does my other mom, Grace. She also coaches with us.
So you want to tell them a little bit more about the stuff that we did before we get into the Bills?
I got to hold a baby alligator, was it? Mm-hmm. Or crocodile?
Baby alligator.
I got to hold a baby alligator and it almost ripped my face off.
It did not.
Yes, it did.
Its jaw was taped down. He was fine. God, we do have a picture of it. That's very cool.
I got to feed and pet stingrays.
What were they? What was amazing about them? They were so what?
They were super soft, but a little bit slimy on the top.
That was weird though. They were like super soft, like silk. It was an interesting experience. What else we get to do?
I also got to feed a giraffe. We did a walk. We did a drive-through safari. An ostrich was pecking out a window.
We have a video of that too. Yep.
I never thought I would ever say this sentence ever in my life. We had to stop for a rhino and a zebra to cross the road.
We did. Cross right in front of us, for sure. And then what was the absolute coolest thing that we all got to do?
My personal favorite part, no matter what, this would be my favorite part out of the entire vacation. I got to feed and pet a shark. I don't know if any of you know how big of a deal that is.
I'm sure everybody understands what a big deal it is to pet a shark.
No, not a big deal for me.
Oh, gotcha.
They know how much I love sharks, especially her right there, Mafia Mom. I've loved sharks since I was 3. I've always been dying to swim with them or even just see one up close and personal would be great for me. But I got to feed and pet one.
It was very cool. We went to a place down there in one of the Keys, and they have nurse sharks, and they let us help train them, which included feeding them off of a stick and petting them, both the top of them and the bottom. Right? Yeah. They were very scally. It was a fun experience though.
Yes, it was.
I will say that one last thing that you want to do that I did when I was in Hawaii, we got to swim with sharks.
Yes.
We were in this little pond area, and we all had life vests on, and we literally got to there was just sharks swimming around us. Like it was the coolest thing ever. Those were reef sharks. The sharks that we were petting were nurse sharks. But overall, very, very cool vacation. How was your Christmas? We'll sum this up quick because we spent a lot of time already on personal stuff. But
my Christmas was amazing. Possibly the best Christmas I have ever had.
That's awesome. And what was just name a couple gifts other than the trip, because every year, well, the last few years, I should say, the last 3 years, instead of buying more junk for the kids, because they seem to kind of have everything, instead we spend that money on a family vacation, and we give them little riddles that they have to solve Christmas morning, and that leads them to figuring out what trip we're going on. So this year it was to the Florida Keys and Miami and that. So we had a good time.
I really wish I could go get my favorite gift, but I can't right now.
Okay. So what was your favorite gift?
We're on the podcast. I'm gonna go from least to favorite. I'm only gonna name a couple gifts. First I got a mini collapsible water bottle. It's in the shape of a basketball, and when you stretch it out, it has like MJ all over it, like on the sides. It was a really good gift. I got.
So when it folds up, it just looks like a basketball. When you stretch it out, it looks like a regular water bottle. It's really cool, and it clips onto like a bag.
I got a new TV, Roku, think around 32 inches. There was a lot more other stuff I just can't think of right now.
Well, what's your other big one that you want to tell them about?
1 sec, I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
I also got a Devonta Smith jersey from the Eagles because I'm also an Eagles fan. And then my all-time favorite gift, I could never imagine me ever getting a pair of these. I got red, white, and blue Nike Air Jordans, which was my all-time favorite gift. But I can only wear them to basketball, and I don't think I would ever wear them out because I'm trying to keep them in pristine condition. So whenever they outgrow me, I can resell them for decent money.
So we had a wonderful holiday. I got lots of Bills gifts, as I always do. I'm probably the easiest person in the family to shop for because people know to just get me anything that has to do with being a mom or a Bills or Sabres, really. And I'm happy. So I got a bunch of wonderful gifts, including this new shirt. I do want my Air Allen hoodie next, but this will do for now. Great moment last year when Allen decided to do one of his hurdles over, I believe this one was Sneed. Yes, so, but we had a wonderful holiday. We also had a wonderful New Year. We celebrated that at a gorgeous hotel that we stayed at for a few days down in Key Largo. Had a beautiful view of the ocean. Went out on the patio and really soaked up the countdown stuff. No. Okay. So we had a wonderful holiday, and I hope all of you out there had a wonderful holiday. We don't normally spend this much time on our personal life, but again, the holidays passing, we had a lot going on, and we just wanted to share with you what was going on in our life. But now to move past
one more thing.
Okay.
This was another great part. I got to try my first pina colada. It didn't have any alcohol in it. We're safe. Very good.
It was a virgin pina colada, but yes. And we had key lime pie, which was delicious.
We still have some in the fridge, actually.
We do. We brought a pie back. But okay, so now for the main event, because you guys are not here to hear about our vacation or to hear about our Christmas or to hear about our New Year's. Although, if any of you are watching right now and want to share with us how your holiday was, especially people we've interacted with in the past, we would absolutely love to hear about your Christmas, what you did, your New Year's, did you have a good time, all of that. So please feel free to share. But we are going to transition into what we're actually here to talk about today, the thing that we all love, the thing that drives us all crazy.
Feel like we might want to die.
The Buffalo Bills. So let's start by, we're not going to go back and recap the Chargers game and the Patriots game and all. It doesn't matter. We're moving into playoffs now, baby. So let's recap the last game real quick, because that game is what put us into the 2 seed and punched our ticket essentially to home field advantage for the first 2 rounds, as long as we take care of business against the Steelers. So Dolphins recap. What'd you think of the game?
It was a great game. We won, so I'm happy about. Even if we didn't win that game, which we did, we still would have gone to the playoffs. But we would have been either the 6th or the 7th seed. We wouldn't have gotten any home field advantage because the surprising Titans beat out the Jags.
Yeah, the Jags lost their opportunity to get in. That was disappointing. There's 3 teams that at the end of the season have just kind of melted down. I'm glad the Bills aren't one of them. They seem to be heading in the other direction. But the Jags, they were 8-3. They had everything right there, and they've just fallen apart. people are starting to ask questions about Trevor Lawrence. And, I have nothing against Trevor Lawrence. I hope he does well. I like seeing young quarterbacks do well for the most part. However, I feel like Trevor Lawrence has really gotten a pass over the last few years. I know the whole Urban Meyer thing and stuff, but he just doesn't get criticized the way that most young quarterbacks do. Like, he gets this benefit of the doubt. And I think it's fair. I know he was playing through an injury, but if you're going to play through the injury, then you're still going to be graded on how you play. You don't get an asterisk because you were playing through an injury. Josh has been playing through injuries for the last 2 seasons. Nobody cares. Nobody says, well, he turns the ball over a lot, but his shoulder was... No, nobody cares. If you're out there playing, play, period. I think it's fair that Trevor Lawrence is getting some questions about his performance because I don't think he's proven so far to necessarily be in the elite tier as a quarterback. He's had flashes, but not with any consistent basis. Another team that has completely fallen apart down the stretch is the Philadelphia Eagles. Unfortunately, they have just, ever since the Bills game, man, they have not been able to get it together. And obviously, we're not happy about that because we love the Eagles. As PJ pointed out, we have family in Philadelphia, and my wife grew up an Eagles fan, so right outside of Philadelphia. So we're a dual family, although the Bills are always my number one team. Through and through, no matter what. But we cheer for the Eagles, which doesn't usually cause much controversy. So we're hoping the Eagles can get it together and beat the Bucs this weekend. But
yes, I actually sometimes get questioned at school which team I like more whenever I wear Eagles stuff to school. Because normally I'm wearing like all Bills stuff to school. But when I wear Eagles, it's a bit of a surprise. So people then question me. Just yesterday, I wore my new Devonta Smith jersey. People were questioning who I liked more. I said all about the Bills. So
Bills Mafia through and through. But my favorite meltdown, which we should have expected because it is the end of the football season,
yes.
and there are only so many things you can truly count on in life. The sun will come up in the morning and it will go down at night, and taxes are due April 15th, and the Dolphins will figure out a way to screw up their season. Of all fan bases out there, I have the most disdain for Dolphins fans. I think they get way too cocky, way too fast. And I'm not talking about like a portion of the fan base, because I understand that there's people who have ugly personalities in every fan base, including Bills Mafia. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about as a whole. They play 3 games in September and say they're the greatest offense that's ever existed. It drives me crazy. And they do this every year. And then every year they fall apart and they act like we couldn't see it coming. Well, you should have seen it coming this year. I don't know what to tell you. This is what your team does. This is what your quarterback does. Josh did not play great, especially in the first half of that game. He had 2 turnovers in the first half, one as soon as the second half started. He missed Diggs on a 90-yard touchdown that was just what I mean. Stephon Diggs made Jalen Ramsey look like a toddler. He just turned him inside out, and Allen overthrew him. It was not looking great at that point, but I never really felt nervous. I felt like Allen's going to figure it out. And then in the fourth quarter, you saw the difference. And I never again want to hear, until Tua has a performance like what Allen just did as far as taking a game over, I never again want to hear somebody compare Tua Tagovailoa to Josh Allen. It's a ridiculous comparison. One of them can win. One of them wins because of him. And it's completely different. Josh Allen took that game over. He was not going to be denied. That 3rd and 13 run might have been one of the gutsiest runs, and I think he's the only quarterback who pulls it off. I don't think Lamar makes it through those 4 tackles. I don't think Mahomes makes it through those 4 tackles. I don't think Fields does any of them. Allen was not going to be denied. He was going to get that yard, and I still think he picked up the 4th and 1, but that's a completely another story. I think that we really saw the Bills come alive in that fourth quarter. Do you think it's something that, okay, now it's clicked and we're going to see that moving forward, or do you think that we could come out slow again in the Steelers game?
I think we could possibly come out slow in the Steelers game, but I trust them, if we do, to come out in the second half and dominate.
Okay. I will say that Allen said after the Patriots game that the ball felt funny coming out of his hand.
And at the end of the fourth quarter at the Miami game, he said, that's the best the ball's ever felt coming out of my hand in a long time.
That's the best it's felt this season coming out of his hand. And it felt like him and Diggs really got into a groove. Also, I don't know if anybody saw it. Look up Michael Irvin's analysis of the so Allen and Diggs were walking in separate directions, saw each other after the game, and kind of slapped each other up, and then they both whispered something in the ear. Go back and watch Michael Irvin's analysis of this conversation. It's the most ridiculously laughable thing you will ever watch. He's talking about
he probably said how Diggs whispered, "You need to get me the ball, or I'm gonna leave."
He talks about how Allen's body language was like, "This is my team now," and he's walking away from Diggs. It was so ridiculous. It was nothing like that. Dan Fates from Buffalo Plus, who does a great job. He's on the sidelines. I love that show. They do a really good job there. Jenna and Mike and Dan. Dan Fates was right there, heard what was said, because he said even though they covered their mouths, they didn't say it very quietly. Josh whispered to Diggs, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more. Everybody understands what that means. I don't buy into that there's something going on between them, but go and watch. If you want to laugh, go and watch Michael Irvin's analysis of the handshake. 4 more wins. Then we're Super Bowl champs. So it was just good to see all of that get going. So who would you pick as your player of the game for the Dolphins game?
Well, I actually have 2 offensive. Okay. It's like it's a dual thing.
It's a combination. Okay.
Hardy and Sherfield.
Okay.
I'll start with Hardy first. He had a punt return for a touchdown.
Sparked everything, man. That was unbelievable.
Yes. In fact, it was actually on accident. So Hardy thought he was like around the 10 when he backed up, but he didn't know he was at like the 4 or the 5 when he returned it for the touchdown. Then when he went on the sidelines, all the players on the team said, "I can't believe you just returned that for like 95 yards." He's like, "What? I thought it was at the 10." And then all of them were saying, "No, it was at like the 5 or the 6." He was blown away. He returned that.
He actually meant to let it bounce, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't, and it's a good thing because that's really what gave us that spark.
Like, you aren't supposed to like return it if your heels are on the 10-yard line and just let it bounce. He didn't know he was all the way back there. So
he said he thought he only took a step or 2 back from the 10, and he didn't realize he had moved so far back. So, and who's your other player of the game?
Sherfield. He had 3 receptions for 24 yards, and one of those receptions was the touchdown deflected off of Van Ginkel's helmet.
Yes. Yeah, and another one of Sherfield's catches was for a first down. So I know it's only 3 catches, but he played a big part in that game. It was nice to see him get involved. I think he's a very talented receiver, and he hasn't had much use this year with the way our wide receiver room is set up. However, with Gabe Davis not playing this weekend, I think we could see a lot of Sherfield. I like when guys have revenge games and they get to ball out a little bit and put up some numbers. Sherfield clearly made a difference in that game, and it was against the team who let him go. So good for him. It was good to see him get involved, though. It really was. And I got to say, for as high as Gabe Davis's ceiling is, I do not think it is the worst thing in the world for somebody else to be playing that wide receiver 2 spot for a game. I don't know if they will make the big plays Davis would make, but what I'm hoping is that there is no more miscommunications between the receiver and Allen. And I think that happens far more often with Davis. So we'll see what happens. I hope he gets healthy quick, though. We do have some injuries that we're battling moving forward here. We'll talk about those in a little bit. My player of the game is going to be Shakir. I think he really stepped up. He's been stepping up, though. Like, the guy's got good hands. He's got great yards after catch. He's in the right spot. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. He doesn't have the best moves. He's just consistent. He goes out there, you throw him the ball, he catches it, and he tries to make something happen. And I've been very impressed with him, especially later in this season. I think he's really turned it on. But he was actually our lead receiver. He went over 100, so he had 6 catches for 105 yards. So I think Shakir, and I think we're going to need Shakir again this weekend. So I want him to continue to progress like that. I was super excited when we drafted Shakir, so I'm glad to see him finally getting involved. And then do you have a defensive player of the game?
Yeah, I have Taylor Rapp, who unfortunately is probably not going to play this game.
Yeah, that was rough.
Taylor Rapp had 3 breakups, and one of them
2 pass breakups, right?
Yeah, I thought it was 3 pass breakups.
No, I think it was 2 pass breakups.
Well, 2 pass breakups, and one of them was second last play of the game. He deflected it, and he basically took Tyreek out of the game at that point on accident. He was just going for the ball. And then the next play, he got the game-winning interception.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It was awesome. It really was. And Rapp will not be playing this week for sure. He is already listed as out. So he hurt his calf on that last play. But good for him, man. You know, he's been getting more and more playing time with the injuries we have on the back end because we've been playing a lot of 3 safeties and the injury to Milano and stuff. And good for him to be able to make that play. It was really nice to see the difference between the way Miami is building their team and the way the Bills have built their team. Miami is very top heavy right now. You get past Waddle and Hill, and who are their real receiving threats? The Bills have been there and they've lived in that world, and now they've started to really build up the backup guys. So when you have that next man up guy, there's not a massive drop off, and you can still get the job done. I also got to say, for all of the controversy and all of the issues that have come up this year with McDermott and all the times he's been questioned, which is fair. He's made some bad decisions coaching wise. The fact that he has been able to keep this defense together, plugging holes and filling in guys all over the place, and they have still been as effective and productive as they have, is incredible. Whether or not that guy is ever a Hall of Fame head coach, I don't know, but I know that guy can coach defense, and he is really good at it, like scary good at it. So good for him to figure out how to keep moving forward with. It feels like we just have so many backups in there at so many important positions, and we're missing so many key pieces that other defenses are missing, and you can see it. You can see they're missing that guy. I don't think it shows with the Bills. They figured it out in the last 5-6 weeks. So good for them.
as you saw when Ramsey was out, their defense wasn't the same.
Right. I mean, Kohu got completely exploited the first time we played the Dolphins because they didn't have Ramsey. Okay, my defensive player of the game
still would have cooked Ramsey.
I think so too. Ramsey doesn't scare me, but Allen's also undefeated against Ramsey and Vic Fangio. But my defensive player of the game is going to be a player that I am generally very harsh on. I am not a fan of his usually. He frustrates me. He drives me crazy. I was glad when he was pulled out of the starting lineup. However, you got to give credit where credit is due. And I think that Dane Jackson had a really great game. I have nothing against him personally. Like, I want him to do well in life and be happy and all that. He just drives me crazy out on the field. But I think he really played a really great game. He did get burned twice. And I think he drew penalties on both of them. It is what it is. I heard the story about when Rasul Douglas wanted to go back in the game and Dane Jackson went to him and said, listen, bro, if you're not 100%, I promise you, I got this. And Douglas was like, all right, do your thing. And he did. He stepped up in the big moment and he figured out how to not hurt us and to be effective and to help this defense out. So good for him. If he does have to play against the Steelers, I think we can get by. I would love to see Douglas out there. However, I would much rather have 100% Douglas for next week's game than an 80% Douglas for next week's game because he also played at 80% this week. So if it's going to
either Miami,
well, no, it'll either be the Chiefs or the winner of Cleveland Houston. If the Dolphins beat the Chiefs, then we play the winner of Cleveland Houston. The lowest seed goes to the higher seed. So Miami would be the 6th seed, then the 7th seed would be out. They would go to Baltimore. So, we'll see what happens as far as the injuries go this weekend. We also could be missing Tyler Dodson. And just a quick shout out to Balin Spector. He came in, he played 19 defensive snaps and had 4 tackles. You were noticing him out there, and that says a lot for a guy who just got pulled in off of the bench cold and has played like 6 defensive snaps all year. So good for him. And if he has to play for Dodson again, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think we can get by, especially this week. Even with a banged up defense, as long as Josh is clicking and the offense is working, I don't see how the Steelers keep up with us. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I just don't see how they score enough points on our defense, even if it is banged up, in order to beat us, unless we beat ourselves, which is very possible. We've played down to teams all year. All right. Anything else that you want to share before we move down to Factor Flag about last week's game?
Nope.
All right, here we go. So we're going to move on to Factor Flag, right? This is your favorite part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So The first question for Fact Flag, for those of you who've never played with us before, Fact or Flag is essentially a trivia game. So I'm going to make a statement, and Mini Mafia is going to guess whether that statement is true or false. If he believes it's true, he will say fact. If he believes it is false, he will
Throw the flag.
throw the flag. So here we go. This is Mini Mafia's favorite part of the show. All right. Alan only has a turnover in one wild card matchup. One super wild card weekend matchup. He only has one turnover in that time in those games.
So that's a fact.
So that's a fact. Unfortunately, that is not a fact. So he actually has had really impressive games in the wild card weekend. However, he did turn the ball over in Houston that very first wild card weekend. He also turned it over against Miami 3 times in the wild card weekend last year. But he does average a total of 370 yards a game in the wild card weekend matchup. That's 312 on the ground, 58 in the air. He has 12 touchdowns and only 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions and a fumble. So that gives him 110.45 rating. So he has performed very well in wild card weekend. However, he does have actually most of his turnovers that he has in the postseason are this weekend, wild card weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Boo-hoo.
Okay. All right, ready?
Yes.
Okay, question number 2. Since TJ Watt was drafted, because we all know the Steelers are without TJ Watt this weekend. Since TJ Watt was drafted, he has missed 11 games. The Steelers are winless in those 11 games.
TJ Watt total has missed 11 games.
Yep, that part's true, no matter what. The factor flag part is the Steelers are winless in those 11 games. Factor flag.
Say that's a fact again.
You say it's a fact again?
Actually, no, flag.
You sure? Final answer?
It's flag.
It is a flag. However, they are only 1-10. So they have managed to win 1 game without TJ Watt. That obviously bodes very well for us this weekend because TJ Watt will not be playing. So again, 1-10 in games without TJ Watt. All right, you ready for the last one? Now this one has a lot of different stats I'm going to give you after the initial part, but we're going to talk about the initial part first. Ready? Okay. So in 2002, the NFL changed the format for the postseason. Okay. So everything I'm talking about here is after from 2002 on. Okay. So 77 QBs have played their first postseason game ever since 2002. 25 of them have lost by 10 points or more. 25 out of the 77 have not only lost, but lost by 10 points or more. Factor flag.
There has been a lot of bad QBs in the last.
Well, they had to be good enough to make it to the postseason.
Yeah, like rookie quarterbacks don't do so well.
It's not necessarily a rookie, though.
Yeah, like 10.
So, like Mason Rudolph is playing in his first postseason game. He is not a rookie. It's just first postseason game. 77 QBs, that part is true, have played in their first.
That's a flag.
That's a flag. Okay, just out of curiosity, do you think that it's more than that have lost by more than 10 points or less?
I think it's less. I don't think 25 of them have lost. 25 of them lost?
Actually, a lot more than 25 of them have lost. And yes, 25 of them. So here's the way it breaks down. Out of the 77 QBs that have played in their first ever playoff game. Now, keep in mind, some of these guys are going to be playing against other guys who are playing in their first playoff game. So that one of them is going to get a win no matter what there. But out of those 77 QBs, only 27 of them have won, which means 50 have lost. Out of those 50 that have lost, half of them, 25, have been by 10 points or more.
I'm not going to say that's a fact.
That is a fact. I'm telling you, it's a fact.
No, like a fact that they've lost by 10 points or more.
Yeah, well, you already answered and you thought it was a flag,
Yeah,
but it's a fact.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh.
So this obviously, again, bodes well for us. Quarterbacks playing in their first ever postseason appearance do not generally do well. And the numbers get even more in our favor. Now, these are all just trends. There's always exceptions to them. It could easily be proven wrong. However, The last 2 seasons, we're done with Factor Flag. I'm just reading these two now, okay? The last 2 seasons, the last 2 postseasons, quarterbacks who are playing in their first ever postseason game going up against a quarterback who has experience in the postseason are 1 win and 6 losses.
So
1 and 6.
That again
does
goes
not
to our
bode well.
favor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because Josh has gone to the playoffs, I think, every single year but his rookie year.
Yep, that's exactly right. And
he's gone to the playoffs 5 years in a row.
And it continues to get bad here. So last 2%. Okay. They those quarterbacks since 2002 who are oh, hang on, sorry. So when a first-time quarterback is playing in his first ever postseason game against a quarterback who is experienced in the postseason, they are 7-23 on the road, which Mason Rudolph will be on the road. When they are underdogs of at least 7 points, which the Steelers are double-digit underdogs last I saw, so this is relevant here. They are 1-12. So out of 13 of them that are making their first postseason start against a QB who's been in the postseason on the road and they're big underdogs, only 1 of them have pulled out a win. This obviously all bodes very, very well for us. QBs that are over 28 making their first start in the postseason are 1-8 as underdogs. So again, doesn't help even if they're older. Still horrible numbers.
How old is Mason Rudolph? He's definitely younger than 28.
No, he's over 28. Oh. Yep. So QBs making their first postseason appearance as road underdogs. 10 of them. 10 out of the 28 we just talked about, or I'm sorry, 10 out of the 7 that we just talked about, the 77, excuse me, 10 out of the 77 we just talked about, they have multiple interceptions. Not one, multiple interceptions. Only 7 of them had 0 interceptions. So a QB making his first ever start in the postseason is more likely to throw more than 1 pick in the game than 0 picks in the game. Again, bodes very, very well for us. Let's see here. At least one QB has won their playoff debut in each of the last 7 seasons. However, 5 of them were playing against another guy who was making his first ever appearance. So 5 of them, somebody was going to win their first game either way. There are, however, let's see, we have CJ Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Love, and Mason Rudolph. Those are all quarterbacks that are starting their first ever playoff game.
Wait, Tua hasn't been to the playoffs?
Nope. Miami was, but Tua was not. So those are all quarterbacks starting their first ever playoff game this weekend. So odds are at least one of them will win. We'll see who it is, and let's just hope it's not Mason Rudolph, right? Yeah.
Or Tua.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if Tua beats. Then the Chiefs are out of the playoffs.
Yeah, actually, I'd rather have Tua win.
Okay, so those were just some fun numbers. Again, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it's definitely stuff in our favor.
I will go first for players to watch.
So we're going to do players to watch now. We're going to transition into the upcoming game, the Steelers game, which, now that we're talking about the Steelers game, would you like to share something with our Bills Mafia friends out there?
What?
About the Steelers game?
Oh, yeah. I completely actually forgot about this. So there's a playoff game everybody knows on Sunday against the Steelers. It's going to be mine and Mafia Mom's first playoff game that we're going to.
It is.
We'll be in around the row 300s.
In the 300 section, yeah.
So you might see us.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get Mini Mafia here to make a sign, so we'll see if we can get him on TV. This is his second regular season Bills or his second real Bills game. He's been to a couple preseason games.
I've been to one.
However,
I've been to one preseason game. That was against the Vikings.
This is my first postseason game ever. I'm very excited to be in that environment. We're going to have to bundle up and stay very, very warm. But these tickets kind of fell into our lap.
We get food.
It was a birthday gift for me because my birthday's coming up next month. So it was an early birthday gift to send me to my first ever playoff game. So we're very excited, right?
Yeah.
So we will be there in person cheering our boys on. And please do not make me take that hour to hour and a half ride home in heartbreak. Okay, Bills, I need you guys to win this one. The worst thing I could think of is being at a postseason game that they lose and then having to drive home. That does not sound fun to me. So please get the job done, guys. I do not want to freeze my butt off for 4 hours to watch you lose. Josh, you need to be Josh, dig, show up, all of it. We need to ball out.
We're going to be spending a decent amount, pretty much a lot of money on hand and feet warmers.
We are. We're going to stay very, very warm. All right. So now on to the actual analysis about the Steelers game. I'm sorry. We keep getting sidetracked in this episode. I guess we're just out of a groove. We haven't been here for a few weeks, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, again, please take the time to like and comment and share if you feel like you know somebody who might be interested in interacting with us or hearing the show or hearing our analysis or whatever, or if you have any players to watch or players of the game from last week that we didn't bring up, please feel free to share them below. I love hearing what you guys have to say and what your opinions are. And sometimes you guys really give me new ideas and ways I didn't think of things before. So please share it down below.
And it really does help all of the channels on Mafia Sports Report. It really helps the community.
It does. And Tommy's nice enough to give us this show here and let us come out here and talk with you guys each week. And, we want to help him by bringing in some new people to his channel. So, take the time to do that. It's free and it takes a couple seconds and it helps a lot. So moving on now. Players to watch. You said you want to go first here, right?
Yes.
Okay, what do you start with, offense or defense?
I'm going to start with my defense. The players to watch. I'm going to go with the D-line.
Okay. Is there somebody specific on the D-line that you want to watch for, or is it just the D-line in general?
I'm going to say Epinesa.
Okay. I could see Epinesa having a day. I could definitely see him having a day, getting pressure in there quickly. All right, I like it. I do think that the D-line is going to have to play really well against the run. I think if you put the game in Mason Rudolph's hands, it'll go a long way.
Also, if we get like 1 or 2 sacks, he's going to get shaken up.
So. I hope so. It's going to be an environment like he's never been in before. So I'm hoping that we can get into his head early and throw him off his game. He's played really well up to this point. He has no turnovers. He's run the offense very efficiently. So he's due for a bad game. And I feel like quarterbacks playing in the playoffs for the first time, they don't understand what that environment is going to be like until they're in it. So Bills Mafia, we need to be loud and proud and make sure that we impact that game any way we can. All right.
Be quiet when the Bills are on the field.
Everybody knows that, yes.
When the offense is screaming your hearts out when the Steelers offense is.
Okay, so my defensive player to watch is a name that we've heard quite often, but I'm going to couple another name with it. I'm going to say the linebackers. Now I have Bernard here. However, if Spector plays, Spector is also going to play a big role, or Dodson. Now, this is mainly because of what I just mentioned. The Steelers want to run the ball. The weather might be nasty, which means that's going to give them another reason to run the ball. We need to make sure that our linebackers are not missing tackles or out of position. The only way the Steelers stay in this game, I believe, is if they can pound the rock and just run the clock out on us and limit our possessions and control time of possession and all that. You have got to make sure that you shut down the run game. So Najee Harris has been on a little bit of a hot streak lately. To be honest with you, I think Warren scares me more than Harris does. I think he is the running back that could give us more trouble. But either way, you got to shut down the run game. Again, put it in Rudolph's hands. If he beats us throwing for 350 yards and 4 TDs and no interceptions, I can live with that. Do not let them run the ball and dictate the game to us, not on our home field. So I think the linebackers are going to be key. Bernard hasn't made a splash play in a while, and I would keep an eye open for that fumble, a strip or a fumble recovery or an interception,
Interception.
something like that. I will say that both Harris and Warren struggled a little bit with ball security early in the game last week during bad weather against the Ravens. So we'll see if the weather's bad
This
here.
is going to even be worse weather because
We'll-
it's going to be lake effect snow.
Yeah, we'll see if the weather's bad here, if they struggle
Probably.
with ball security, especially early on in the game again. So we'll keep an eye open for that.
There's definitely going to be lake effect snow in Buffalo.
Yeah. I also think that we're going to need Poyer to have a big game. Poyer has been coming down into the box and helping out a lot in the run game. So all of my defensive players to watch are really revolving around stopping the run. It's the linebackers and Jordan Poyer. We need him to be stout in the run game. No missed tackles, no bad angles. Make sure you're filling those holes, and the D-line needs to set the edge and not get beat around the edges. So that would be my thing. Dave Jackson
has to not dive at the
do
feet.
not run 3 yards deep into the backfield to dive at their feet when you're supposed to set the edge. Please, for the love, I'm begging you, please don't do that. Please, please, please. I just gave you props. I'm rooting for you. Please don't do that. Okay, on to the offensive player to watch.
I have Diggs. He is
Favorite
not.
player.
Yeah, he had a decent game last game, but he really needs to have a big game.
I mean, he had 87 yards. He played well. I think they really did a good job getting Diggs involved last week.
Like he needs to get in the end zone.
Fair enough. I do think Diggs is way overdue to score. I'd like to see him in the end zone. Okay, so Diggs. So you want to see him get in the end zone and just be a bigger part of the offense?
Yes, definitely, 100%.
All right, my offensive player to watch is going to be the tight ends. Now, without TJ Watt, I expect the Steelers to bring some pressure. They're already a team who likes to make a quarterback uncomfortable anyway. So without TJ Watt, they're going to have to send extra guys to do that. Allen is going to need to stay patient, but get the ball out quickly to his hot reads if they pressure. That means that those short passes, those dink and dunk passes, are going to be the ones we need to rely on for a little while. I don't want it to take us 3 quarters to figure out how to combat a zero blitz. I felt like in Miami, we struggled with that for a lot longer than we should have. So, Brady, you got to be ready to make those adjustments because the Steelers are going to pressure you. So I think Kincaid and Knox could both have potentially, maybe not huge days numbers wise, like, I don't think they're going to go over 100 yards or anything, but I think they could, one or both of them or combined could end up with quite a few catches, like 10 plus catches between the two of them. So we'll see what happens there. I just think they're going to be an outlet pass for a lot of these blitzes. The answer to a lot of the blitzes and the protection. All right. Anything else to share on the players to watch?
Nope.
Okay, so let's move on to our Josh Allen stat line. So what do you got going on? Me first? Okay. I do think that we will see playoff Allen in this game. However, the Steelers defense. Minka Fitzpatrick will be back. I don't see Allen having a monster game, but I think it'll be a very, very good game. I think he is going to have around 285 yards passing. I think he's going to add about another 45 rushing. I think he will end up with 3 total TDs and, unfortunately, 1 turnover.
I have Josh getting around 270 with 3 touchdowns, 20. This is like for passing, 23 for 34 times 30 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. So in total 4 touchdowns.
Wow, you have a big day. Any turnovers?
No.
No turnovers. Okay. I would love to see that. I would love it if your stat line was dead on. That would be perfect. I would love to see that. No turnovers, 4 touchdowns. I'll take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Imagine I get the stat line perfect, then
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. All right. Now on to our hot takes. We're not going to review the last hot takes because it was so many weeks ago. There's just no point in it for now. Plus, it's playoffs. So let's move forward because the season starts this weekend. Everybody's at 0-0. Everybody who is still in has the same shot to win the Super Bowl this year. So go ahead. So what's your hot take?
I'm going to have my first hot take is Diggs at least 100 yards and 1 touchdown.
Very, very nice. Yeah, we'll do 2 hot takes since it's playoff season. So we'll give you an offensive and a defensive one. I'd love to see that day out of Diggs, and I think he deserves to get in the end zone. However, it does conflict a little bit with mine, so we'll see. We'll see which one of us right. Both of us could be right. We'll see. My hot take is that I believe Cook is going to get in the end zone. It's not a super hot take. He dropped that touchdown. I think it was the third touchdown he's dropped this year, last week.
It's like
and
the fourth.
I think he's going to make up for it. I think whether it's through the run or through the pass, James Cook will be scoring a touchdown
He dropped
this weekend.
one early in the year. He dropped two.
Okay, I don't know. We're moving on. So I believe James Cook will get into the end zone this weekend.
I'm having you have your defensive.
My defense first. Okay. So my defense, we did talk about how QBs making their first appearance in the postseason are more likely to throw multiple interceptions than throw 0 interceptions. That being said,
throw one interception.
Well, that's happened. I'm just saying that they're more likely to throw multiple than throw none. That being said, I do believe that I think that Mason Rudolph is actually likely to break that trend. However, I think he's going to break that trend by only throwing one interception or having one turnover. I do believe the Pittsburgh offense in total will have 2 turnovers. And I think that Hyde or Poyer will get the pick. I think Mason Rudolph will throw a pick at some point, and I think Hyde or Poyer or somebody at the safety position. And since Rapp isn't playing, I guess it could be Cam Lewis, although I doubt it. But yeah, I think Hyde or Poyer are going to walk out of there with a pick, and I would love to see it because I hope everybody keeps in mind these are probably each of these games are potentially the last game that we see Poyer and Hyde in a Bills jersey. So, not to bring everybody down, but I would love for them to go out by making a big interception in a playoff game. I think
this
that's
is possibly the last couple games, if we win this, to see Hyde and Poyer really at all.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll play somewhere else, but I doubt they'll play together for sure. But either way, it's probably one of the last times we see them in a Bills jersey. So enjoy it. I'm very excited. Hyde has been one of my favorite players since he got here, and I love Poyer. So to be able to go to this game on Sunday and be at one of their last games in a Bills jersey, I'm very, very excited about that. In fact, I think I might wear my Poyer jersey to the game or my Hyde jersey to the game. To support them because I love those guys, man. They've been a big part of what we've done here in Buffalo, what McDermott's built. All right. You have your defensive hot take.
My defensive is this is definitely over the season. This is around a couple sacks over the season average. D-line over 5 sacks at least.
All right. I'd love to see it. So, again, you think Epinesa is going to get at least one of them?
I think Epinesa is going to at least get one, possibly more. I think Oliver might get 2.
Will Vaughn get a sack?
I hope so.
You hope so? What's your prediction, though? What's your gut tell you? I'm just curious.
I don't think Vaughn is. I think Vaughn might get half a sack.
Vaughn might get half a sack. All right.
And then
I know we all want to see Vaughn get going or get off the field.
And then I think Rochelle might have one. So
okay. All right, good. I can live with that. All right. And you said Ed Oliver and Floyd were the other 2, right?
No, Epinesa, Vaughn, Oliver, and Rousseau.
Oh, okay. So you don't have anything from the middle. No Oliver, no Daquan Jones.
I just said Oliver.
Oh, I'm sorry. Floyd. You don't have any Floyd.
No.
Okay. Sorry. He is our sack leader, though. That's why I'm asking. All right.
Yeah.
Score prediction.
This
is it, guys. All right. So hopefully this will not be the last show that we bring you. We will be back next week as long as the Bills win to review the Steelers game and look forward to what I'm thinking will most likely be hosting
the
Chiefs in our building for once in the postseason.
I cannot wait to destroy the Chiefs if we win this game.
It'll be interesting.
I want the Chiefs to come to Lake Effect Snow Buffalo.
It will be nice to get them on our turf for once with our fans and with our stadium.
To be fair, it's basically our fans at a playoff game.
Well, not in Kansas City. We don't take over their stadium. They sell out. It's not like the Dolphins Stadium, which, for the record, Bills Mafia, congrats to you, man.
Yes, thank you for filling up over 45% of their stadium.
That was a must-win game for both teams. And you guys convinced these Dolphins fans that they didn't want to go and support their team. They were going to sell it to a rival fan and let you take over the stadium. I don't know how many of you were there.
Give all of yourselves a pat on the back because you're insane for filling up over 45% of their stadium.
I don't know how many of you were there. There were a bunch of different reports that came out saying anywhere from only like only like 25 to 30% were Bills fans, all the way up to 70% were Bills fans. I don't know and I don't care. All I do know is that you guys were loud and you impacted that game. So thank you very much. You dedicated Bills fans. I love it. Like, I love being a part of this community and I love being a part of Bills Mafia. I think it says more to be a part of Bills Mafia than being a part of any sports franchise as a fan in the world.
Yep.
So very, very proud to be a part of this franchise. And everybody knows Bills Mafia travels and everybody knows Bills Mafia shows out. So, okay. And we're going to do our part this Sunday, right? Helping them get the win. All right. So my score prediction for the wild card weekend matchup between the Bills and the Steelers in Buffalo, first playoff game this year, is going to be, drum roll, 27-17 Bills. I don't think it's going to be a completely out of hand score. Playoff games tend to be a little bit close. However, I do think the Bills will, as long as they're not beating themselves, which they've done a lot this year, it's very possible. As long as they're not beating themselves, I believe they stay in control of the game from pretty much start to finish. I don't think this is like a Chiefs game where you're at the last second, your heart is pounding really fast, or the Patriots game or the Chargers game. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think this is going to be an easier win. Not quite as easy as Dallas.
Games. Or like the Eagles game.
Well, as an Eagles fan, you mean? Well, some of them, not lately. But anyway, it's not going to be quite as easy as Dallas, but it is going to be easier to sit through than some of these nail biters have been this season. What's your score prediction, Minnie?
Mine is a little bit further. Mine's has a little bit more of a deficit, has a little bit higher scoring. I'm gonna say Bills 38, Steelers 20.
Wow. Okay, so you have an 18-point victory for the Bills. All right, I love it.
Technically triple scores if you don't count the field goal.
That's definitely a 3-score game. Anything over 16 would be 17 and up would be a 3-score game. So it's definitely a 3-score. Okay. Well, please, if you have a player that you think we should watch for, or a hot take, or a score prediction, please take the time to put it down below. I would love to see what you think. Anything else you want to add?
No, just hope you had happy holidays, happy New Year.
Yeah. And until next time,
go Bills!
Bye-bye.
See, Peter, he's too fast.
You gotta tackle me. It's B. You gotta press B.
I'm pressing B. He's too fast.
Going over here? Going over here now? Never get tired.